And welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lost Podcast of Titan, a father and son journey through the sci-fi series that unite our generations. And oi, do you got a license for that depressing movie, mate? Oi, come here. I need
Is that an H-bomb in your pocket?
I need to have all the sunshine in life pulled out of your body. Oi, come here. Today, we are holding off on Whom Gods Destroy because, let's face it, that looks like hot trash from the description alone. Weeks ago, I was assigned the movie The Threads, which is depressing as hell and yet somehow far more entertaining than I think For Whom Gods Would Destroy, as it is.
Yeah, no argument there.
Oh my god. This movie, I appreciate it. I do.
Yes.
So for those of you who are unaware, if y'all want, y'all go ahead, put us on pause, and take a quick look at Threads.
Quick look.
Just, it's bad enough. It's on YouTube for about 20 minutes if you can manage to grab it. But yeah, so go ahead, put us on pause, take a watch of that, come back to us, and you can join the discussion. Or if y'all have seen it before, it is a rather memorable movie, so feel free to stick around.
So am I correct in
Yes.
presuming
Yes.
that this was a rather grim and depressing production for
God,
you?
like, holy fuck. It just kept going downhill. And the thing is, it didn't, like, there was the bombing, right? And that took too fucking long, to be honest. I was like, it was 22 minutes in before the bombs actually fell, but whatever.
Well, first you might want to explain to the audience who haven't yet seen the film what the film is about.
Okay, all right. So let's do this. A quick synopsis of the film is that Threads follows, I think, a couple groups of people through the initial attack and the immediate aftermath of a nuclear attack on Britain, and then also follows what happens to them and their family, I think about 15 or 20 years after the bombs actually fall.
Yes.
It's done really well. I think I read a snippet somewhere that they consulted with who's the guy who Sagan. That's it. And I think this was the first movie that actually tried to deal with nuclear winter.
I have to say on the onset that the British
Yes.
have always been far better than America in dealing with films on nuclear war. We have the original On the Beach. We have Jackson's The War Game.
Mm-hmm. We have Mad Max. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not so much. Those are Australian more than British, and it's not. Yeah, you go ahead. You go down to Australia and congratulate them on the British films they make.
I would take credit for Mad
not
Max.
Jackson. It was Peter Watkins' The War Game. Peter Watkins. But they've never been afraid of facing the issue and the consequences of nuclear war. Considering
They were like 30 miles from Russia anyway.
Yeah, they were dead center between us and the Soviet Union.
What do you mean dead center? They were right on Russia's doorstep.
But anyway, I think this is the penultimate nuclear war aftermath film.
Yes. And also I liked sorry for my voice cracking, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still recovering. So I liked how in this movie, like, the Americans and the Russians are background players. Like, as an American, I could kind of appreciate that. Like, this is a country that it was basically just in between two larger guys fighting and got the absolute crap beaten out of them. And, like, it was just... It's interesting that we're not that important.
It didn't do much for the city of Sheffield in terms of, hey, come move to Sheffield.
Oh, I don't think there was actually... Because also, this was during Margaret Thatcher's time, wasn't it? 1984, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm absolutely fascinated by this time in British history, because I didn't know they were, like, that far socialist just before, and then they basically went full on capitalist. Well, I mean, they still have public health care, but it's interesting. Like, I kind of wonder.
Yes, even Thatcher couldn't get rid of public health care.
Yeah, but it makes me wonder. Like, is this where the United States is kind of heading, sort of thing? You know.
Well, hopefully without the bomb, but.
Well, you know. No, I mean like in a more realistic sense. Like,
Yeah.
what if Thatcher is a not quite Trump, but more like what if George Bush was more effective? You know, what if he wasn't an idiot? But oh Lord,
One thing I wanted to say
yes.
is I appreciate the fact that the wise decision was made not to include big name actors in this production. I mean, these people who were in Threads were obviously actors, but they are not immediately recognizable, and that made them more realistic.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it would have helped me anyway. I mean, unless it was I can't even think of an actor's name now. I don't. Who's the Scottish?
Helena? Oh, I was going to say Helena Bonham Carter, but you're thinking of someone else.
No, she's no, she wasn't around back then.
Yeah, she was, but
no,
she was.
Okay, I'm sure she was, but she wasn't on my radar. Okay.
Okay, who was on your radar?
In 1984.
No, who did you think? You mentioned something. You said Scottish actor or something.
Yeah, it's like from Highlander. Who's that guy who kept choosing the wrong movies?
Oh, you're not thinking Sean Connery, are you?
Yes, I'm thinking of Sean Connery. Yes.
Oh, come on! He didn't always pick wrong movies.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He had that little bit in, but where he needed cash. I don't know.
He needed cash. He did Zardoz. The penis is evil, and he was his own chauffeur for $9,000. Come on.
I liked Zardoz.
I'm glad someone likes Zardoz. That movie is trash. Okay.
Oh, it's not that.
It is so bad. Zardoz is so bad. The penis is evil. That can go fuck itself right off. We are going to stand around this one person and wiggle our fingers as we do a mind wipe. Oh no, mind wipe. Oh, fucking pretentious piece of shit film.
Keep in mind that this was directed and written by the same guy who did Excalibur.
Zardoz?
Yes.
How did the guy who did Zardoz do Excalibur?
Because John Borman is a very good director.
Who wrote it?
And some people actually, like Zardoz. People of note, not just your father.
Mm-hmm. Holy shit, it was written and directed by John Borman.
Yeah.
So who wrote Excalibur? Let's see. Welcome to our Threads episode, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we discussed Zardoz.
Which was going to be a Whom Gods Destroy episode. But
oh yeah, this is true. We are desperately trying not to watch that episode. Oh, interesting.
I should have assigned Zardoz.
Oh, he also did the Emerald Forest. Okay, John Borman's pretty good, but everyone has their bad takes. In this case, it's Zardoz here.
Anyway, back to Threads.
Back to Threads, yes. Okay, so the beginning of the film is the most romantic scene in British history, where a strapping young soccer hooligan tries to get it on with his old lady on the most depressing, colorless, foggy hill overlooking an industrial shit stain of a town. Like, holy shit.
Well, they probably wanted the fog in case the police or the parents showed up. But
the police showed up, didn't they?
They may have.
I think the police did. Yes. All
right, move along now. Move along.
Oi! It's a depressing movie, not a skin flick. That's what they call it. Skin flick. Move along. Oh. and also the family was fucking great. One of them said was like, get married. What for? I was like, holy shit.
Working class people. This is not to belittle the
no.
the people of Great Britain. I'm sure that Barry Hines, who was the writer, and Mick Jackson, who was the director, had very definite inspirations.
I say this because I can relate to this shit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, which one of us wasn't the strapping young lad with a lovely, lovely lass on a colorless, foggy hill overlooking a shit-stained industrial town? Although some of our cases it was a swamp, some of our cases it was a prairie in the open desert.
Well, at least they didn't try to add insult to injury by putting in a romantic soundtrack.
Oh, this is true. It's just like, I saw it and I connected immediately of there's nothing to do at all.
No.
Except have sex. The horror.
Right. The little boy was putting together model airplanes and he was also raising pigeons.
Mm-hmm. And also, can I okay, so the boyfriend in question is an absolute cad. Because he's about to get married, and he's in a bar, and he's having lovely conversations with two young birds over there, and I'm like,
and we don't mean pigeons.
Go to get married. Stop that.
Really, the day before my wedding, I was really in no frame of mind to be going and hanging out in the pub, trying to scare up some action.
Exactly. And maybe it was just his friend who was pushing it, but if that's your friend, that says something about you, you know?
Yeah.
But yes, I did mention I was actually keeping track of how long it fucking took to actually get any kind of bombs going. And it was 22 minutes in this fucking movie.
Well, you wanted to build up some kind of relationship with the characters,
this is true,
sympathy.
Yeah.
You want a list of who's who so you can mark off the names as they die.
Yeah, but some of them, I barely remember. It took me, because I actually kind of watched it a couple of times here and there. Well, it was because it's all on YouTube. So I could pull it up at work. And usually, I can have it running while I'm doing some remote stuff. And then I can put it on pause while I have to do physical stuff. It's, But, so, what was it? Oh, dang, what was my thought? Yes. Also, I liked how it didn't just simply start with all the bombs firing at once. It was a news type. Yeah, it was a news typecast kind of thing, like chugga 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 chugga. Where, what was it? I think it was in the Middle East. Russia wasn't withdrawing from somewhere or whatever, or they were invading. And the United States said, get the fuck out. They said no. And so the United States was sending a fleet of airplane bombers. And then the Russians just basically fired one ground-to-air nuke and took out the entire bombing fleet.
And this is all in the background and no one's really giving a shit.
This is all in the background and no one gives a shit. It was just... our young couple who we are following and learning about, their main concern right at this moment was getting comfy furniture, which I'm not entirely sure how or why, but something happened to furniture between the 80s and today. I don't know why you're laughing. I'm serious.
I know, but I just wasn't expecting that observation.
It looks so comfy. It looks like I could go there's this large chair. It looks like I could just go in, sit down, and I would sink into the loving embrace of a young English lass and fall asleep and dream deeper than I've ever dreamed before.
Yeah. And
this was just a shitty piece of furniture for a young couple trying to get on their own in life. And I'm like, what the hell happened to this? I got furniture now, and I take a sit, and I got a piece of wood jabbing me in the back. I'm like, what the hell? But
but that reminded me. Yeah. I enjoyed your comment about the background news concerning the developing political and military situation.
Yeah.
That reminded me of another thing I appreciated about Threads, the semi-documentary style.
Yeah, this is also true. I also like how one of the only people really paying attention was the young boy. Like, he's the one going, like, shouldn't we be concerned? Are you hearing this? Read this newspaper. And I think the father is basically building a makeshift shelter, but he doesn't seem concerned at all. He's like, oh, well, we got this little pamphlet from the local council about how to make a shelter, so let us go and, put up some wood planking here and there, da-da-da-da-da.
There's, off topic, but there's there's a short animated film based on a quote-unquote...
Oh, wait, is this the one with the old couple?
Yes, Where the Wind Blows.
Nope.
Oh, you didn't like that one? Or was it just too much to take?
Too much to take. I'm sorry, I'm out.
Yeah, but once again, another British film and another uncompromising view of nuclear war. Plus, it has a great theme song by David Bowie.
Probably, yeah. But yeah.
When the bombs, I wanted to finish the thought. Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
When the bombs started falling, it was a staggering amount, and you had the EMP burst.
Yeah.
And then you had the NATO base being bombed.
Yep.
And then information comes up about how many megatons are being dropped on the United Kingdom, and I thought, wow, we're really getting a shitstorm. Makes me wonder what America's going through. But it listed very coldly, very impersonally, what types of targets are being being prioritized.
Yeah.
And and they went to all this trouble beforehand, detailing Sheffield, England, as a industrial city, a production center and stuff like that, and that's exactly the target priorities listed. And I don't know about you, but I saw that and went, "Oh, holy shit!"
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like, I mean, to be honest, I've lived near either military bases or large cities most of my life, and after a while, because I think like most kids, when we learn about nuclear war, we're like, "Oh no, this is horrific." And I got a strange kind of peace with the idea, I mean, if something happens, I'm close enough to a target to where I might get annoyed by the bright light for a second, and then it's all over.
Back when I was growing up, what today is now Bergstrom Airport in Austin was Bergstrom Air Force Base, a major strategic air command installation. I was living and going to school within 7 miles of Ground Zero. And we did the whole duck and cover thing.
Oh, we had duck and cover.
If I go through all the bric-a-brac I've collected over the years, I can probably find all the original civil defense literature that was available at that time. I had a map of showing where all the bomb shelters in Austin were located.
Oh, are you familiar with the Fallout games?
Yes, I have heard of them. I haven't, played any yet, but yes, I am familiar.
Okay, well, in Fallout 3 and onwards, one of their main features is you have radio coming in through like a Pip-Boy, it's a little electronic device, and it usually has all these 1950s-esque songs that they would sing during the time. But since they were all just audio files, one of the more popular mods that I enjoyed was one that put in several hundred government bomb warnings and information pamphlets into the Pip-Boy, so that you would get all these really old broadcasts that were real and also completely terrifying. Like there was this one of a father and son where they're talking about the coming war. And then the little kid's like, well, I know that when the bombs drop, you turn the radio between frequencies X, Y, and Z, and then they'll tell you what to do. That's right, Jimmy. I'm glad you're paying attention. Together we'll defeat the commies. Like, oh my God.
Oh, that reminds me. One of the plot lines leading up to the bombing
yes.
is the city government of Sheffield,
Oh,
the
God.
rather efficient city government of Sheffield, on top of the situation, setting up their war room, their survival instructions and stuff. And I'm thinking, these people in Sheffield are doomed beyond belief.
Well, also it's because from what I gathered, or at least how it was implied to me in the film, is that the decisions and the policies and procedures were decided upon and written upon, but no one bothered actually reading them, because I mean, this was you only have to worry or do this when the bombs drop, and no one at this point in time really thinks the bombs are going to drop. Like, I remember they were trying to get like the last 10 people from somewhere to get into the shelters. Like, the bombs are actually dropping or about to drop. Like, the alerts are going that, holy shit, we're about 30 seconds away from all-out nuclear war. And we have like 10 people who are like, oh, they just haven't showed up yet. Like, oh, Lord. Also,
they may have run for the high hills.
Also, help me out. There was this scene where it was this woman basically protesting the nuclear war.
Yes.
And she was like, if we fight back, like, if we fight back, no one will be left alive. You know, what's the point of that? And let's use the nuclear weapons to the funding for the nuclear weapons to help with the common people, basically. And I was thinking to myself, this is well and good, but the Russians are real, and they're right there. Like, they're not going to stop just because you wanted to add 50 pounds to the NHS. I mean, and I'm sorry, but if your solution is, well, us counterattacking would kill them too and end the human race, I'm sorry, I'm dead. I don't give a shit, and they deserve it.
Well, there's that old saying about the road of good intention. I mean, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and we were seeing that. But I felt the production values in the film were moderately simple. There was no CGI back then and stuff like that. But they managed to, I feel, depict the atomic attack effectively, and they did an obviously visual bang-up job at showing the aftermath of the attack. It didn't take long, in my opinion, for everything to break down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense because like, who's going to bother doing the basic necessary things when everyone's been obliterated pretty much?
Well, I mean, even among the survivors, the police, the people who are supposed to be in control, food production, just it was a whole house of cards kind of thing.
Oh, speaking of, oh god, like the panic when things are actually, people are starting to realize what's about to happen, and they start making a run on the stores, and they're upset at the prices of food, and I'm looking at the prices of food, and I'm like, the fuck you say? Holy shit! Where did these prices go? Give me that bag of crisps for half a penny. Like, oh Jesus!
If you want to keep your face.
Oh. Oh Lord!
Or no, people going to the ATM machines at the bank.
Did they have ATMs back then?
Yes, primitive sort, but yeah.
I don't remember that scene. But then again, things were getting kind of crazy.
It was kind of brief. They're standing in line at the bank at the ATM machine, putting in their cards, and the screen replies with, "Sorry, there will be no further transactions through this machine."
Oh Lord! Oh Lord!
But yeah, the panic scenes. Did you ever read a novel, an American novel written during the 50s by Pat Frank called Alas, Babylon?
Yeah, you had me read that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, because I was reading a lot of atomic war fiction.
Yeah, and the guy, if I remember correctly, he bought all this meat stupidly because he was just panic buying food. And then the bombs actually fall, and he doesn't have any electricity, and he's like, you fucking dumbass. What am I going to do with all this food? And then he has this giant barbecue with all of his neighbors, and I'm like, okay, okay, all right, that's actually good.
Well, what I was thinking was his first action when he got the warning from his brother, who was in the Air Force, was to write a note to the dairy increasing his order of milk. And he said, and the author said that was the least effective move he made. And I can pretty much understand, yeah, that's going to really help. But, they just underline in this film how the immediate response to, I like to think that I would be a bit more knowledgeable and prepared. But when I hear that bombs are falling,
yeah,
I suspect I would just do incredibly stupid and useless things.
Yeah, I think we both watch this film, and we see we can't answer the question, what would we do better?
Right, we see ourselves in that crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll probably be the one peeing on the sidewalk like that one lady.
Oh yeah. Oh Lord, was that the same girl from later on in the movie where she has the baby?
No, that was an older woman who was peeing on the sidewalk.
Okay, all right. Okay.
But they had that one guy when when the bomb hits the NATO base,
yeah,
he's sitting on the toilet with his pants down and facing a window. And I thought, well, I hope he wasn't planning on a big family.
Or just living to begin with.
Exactly.
And whose bright idea was it to put the emergency government committee underneath the main government building?
Well, to give them some support, where I guess the smart thing would have been to do is to find an isolated location out of town. But the way the bombs were falling in that area, would it have been any better?
Well, they wouldn't have had their ventilation cut off, and maybe they would have had more of their equipment.
They should have thought about, in retrospect, bringing some oxygen cylinders down there.
That wouldn't have been enough.
But but you remind me, the bombs hit, everything goes dark down in the bunker.
Yep. And
their teletypes and such no longer work. And some guy says, bring out the old piece of equipment. And they drag out this, what looks like in the decrepit. And I thought, is it still going to have to be plugged in? Because I have news for you.
But they had radio contact with other people, and I love how, no one has any idea what's going on or who to contact, because they keep having to go up the chain. I remember that, I don't have the authority to do this. I have to get permission from X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, dude, you can't reach them. You're in
X,
charge.
Y, and Z is probably just a pile of ashes blowing across the landscape.
Exactly.
Grow a pair, why don't you?
And, oh, Lord, later on, while they were still alive, because spoiler fucking alert, they're all dead. I was shocked because it was the woman who said, I need that food to force people to work.
Yeah.
Oh, that's holy shit.
That's how it would be.
I understand that is how it would be.
But just hearing it voiced
by a woman, holy fuck. Okay. All right.
I mean, how far are we removed from savagery? We call ourselves a civilized.
Something like three meals or something away from
3 missed meals. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but that was a really well done touch, and I'm wondering, was that actually written that way, where that character said that line, or was that something in the moment where the director was like, no, actually, I want you to say that line?
Well, let's see. Threads won. It won several BAFTA awards for best single drama, best design, best cameraman, and best film editor.
It doesn't answer that question though.
True, but apparently, I was suspecting that that scene was planned to just those little stabs with a knife to show us just how bad things were getting. Like that one scene later on when you show, I presume it's the police, holding impromptu firing squads. and they're making the condemned men take, at least remove their shirts because they'll need the shirts to redistribute to other people.
Yeah. Also, did you notice that the soldiers later on in the film, they don't have names, they have numbers?
I know. I thought that was a nice touch.
That was like, was that actually a policy? Is that something that's to be done, or?
I don't know if British cops, wear
no, what I mean
badges.
is, like, is it policy in the event of the nuclear attack and you have to keep your own populace under control, because this is really what they were doing? Is it more psychologically effective to have your soldiers disassociate themselves from their names by calling them numbers only, so that they basically remove themselves from the society? They're no longer Michael from Bradbury Street. They're number 13.
And wearing a mask.
And wearing a mask, yeah.
I'm just wondering, were there no defections or extreme?
I don't think there would, because I mean they were the only ones who were really, really well fed. Like, there was that one bit where there was a group of people, they were robbing that old man's house, and I kind of go back and forth between whether or not that was valid or not, because he was refusing to shelter people, and he was alone in the house, and he had like food stockpiled, and I'm like, I kind of chew on that scene a bit, because on the one hand they need food, on the other hand that's his property, etc., blah blah blah.
Well, that's another thing. Threads did not shy away from hitting the audience with moral dilemmas.
Right.
We're not, and that's another benefit of not using big name actors, is that you don't find yourself automatically
rooting for the quote unquote hero. Yeah.
Yeah. There were no heroes. Practically everyone was playing a level field here. Yep. When they found, also the cops would find that one person hoarding, or what they accused of hoarding, his stuffing into a plastic bag, and they shoot him, and then they start going through the bag looking at what's edible. And
no, that was they weren't hoarded. Those were that was the group of people busting into that guy's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they were going through what was edible, and it wasn't one of their favorite flavors of crisps.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they're really well fed. Oh my god. When you can have that, oh, it's not my favorite flavor of crisp, then you're not really hungry.
God, I recently watched the film, but I can't remember. Mm-hmm. Did we ever see depictions of cannibalism?
No, but it was getting worse, so I really wouldn't be surprised, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, because they reached the point where the crops weren't growing, nothing. It was all scavenging.
Yep. And our young lass from the beginning of the film is actually pregnant from her young lord, and so we have to deal with that throughout the entire movie.
And you never really saw what was wrong with the baby. Either A.
Oh, no. That was okay. No, that was her granddaughter, or a grandchild.
Her grandchild.
Yeah. Okay.
The girl's baby lived, and then we follow her to where she herself is pregnant.
Yes, like that. Yeah, that wasn't in the like. It kept fucking going. I mean, it went past several endpoints where I thought, okay, here we're going to have credits. No, we're still going. Oh my god. Okay.
We got a few more nails to hammer in here.
We have about 20 more years of this story to follow. Like her young lord, to whom she was devoted in the beginning of the film, they actually meet back up damn near 20 minutes before the ending, and they'd been separated for a while. And
I dialed your number.
Oh, Jesus.
You didn't pick up.
They ate a raw lamb, not knowing or caring if it was contaminated, because at that point, it really did not matter.
I was going to say, would I have mattered? Probably not.
Yeah. And, they had been separated for most of the movie now, and his idea was he's going to go north or something. He's going to skin the lamb, get the wool, and he's going to go north. And she asks him, "What's north?" And there's that realization of, I don't think there's anything north, but I just have to keep going. And I was like, oh, god damn. And
well, you can almost see his point, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I understand. Like, I would keep moving too. And oh Lord, it was just. And also, what the fuck is with all of these broadcasts after the fact of like everything has gone to shit, but the BBC is still on the air going, wait, hold on. This is the BBC. You are all going to die. Try not to be a bother. Thank you.
And stay tuned for another episode of the Graham Norton Show.
Da 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 da. Oh. But yeah. So. Damn. So okay. So everything is over. Everything's dead. The crops are not growing, and apparently people are going blind because the what was it? The ozone was scattered, or something like
they were still getting radiation.
Yeah.
Due to a lack of ozone, and so cataracts were becoming a major issue.
Yeah. So our young lass from the beginning of the film, she has the child. It's a daughter. It's a girl, and we go through the years past, kind of a montage. Her eyes are the woman's eyes are glazed over, like she's blind now, and she collapses and dies while tending a field. And oh wait, no, she doesn't. She doesn't die.
She gives birth.
She collapses on the field. Gives birth to the daughter, who then grows up and works the field with her, and then she dies in bed. And then it's very clear that her young daughter doesn't. There's no education, so language is fucked up. All the child understands is like work, food, and a few other basic concepts, basically. And for some reason, they were unweaving cloth. I don't understand why they were unweaving cloth.
They needed a thread to weave more durable, insulated items.
Mm.
And I'm surprised they managed to hang on to that bit of knowledge.
Mm. That's weird. But eventually, she goes to her wandering ways. She unfortunately gets raped, and then she has a child, and that's where the movie ends, where she gives birth and she's handed the child, and that is basically it. And I was like, and the thing is, I thought the movie was so depressing. I thought, well, how could they make that worse? And I realized the easy way to make it worse is to have her father in the bed next to her. Like, she's in the hospital giving birth, and her father is and he doesn't know. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But he probably wasn't alive at that point in the story anyway. But yeah, so that's Threads, and
okay,
I need a glass of sunshine and happiness here now.
Yeah, you notice how the sky kept getting progressively darker and darker.
Yep.
Throughout the production of the film.
Well, that was just natural England. They don't have lights in England.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Haha. Because I have seen sunshine in England.
Yeah, animated.
Yes, they.
Also, this is bullshit.
It's just a big.
The sun never sets on the British Empire. Fuck you. It never rises over England. Okay.
So the sunshine skies in England are just a big production courtesy of the BBC. They shine these huge projectors upwards.
Yep. Hey, you know what they call a thunderstorm in England?
Go ahead.
A sunny day.
Oh! Speaking of nuclear weapons being launched against people, just keep in mind that, my son and I are in totally different states, so you'll have to spread your shots a bit. No, but I can't.
Our
I
people,
can't.
our fans in England know I kid and that I love.
But I cannot, for the life of me, find a bad thing to say about Threads.
Nope.
It accomplished the purpose it set out to do. I mean, everyone was at that same time were praising to the skies the 1983 ABC television film The Day After, which, for my money, you can just flush down the toilet. It was useless.
I think I saw that and I wasn't that impressed.
No, for one thing, too many name stars. Maybe some nice shots during when the bombs fall, but compared to Threads, it was just a squeaky clean. Oh, the bombs fell. Well, that's okay. I picked up a few extra, Stouffer's frozen dinners before the bombs fell, so we'll be all right.
We'll use our American bootstraps to pull our way through this. Huzzah!
Yes.
But oh Lord,
it was meant. Threads was meant to be an ice pick through the forehead, and that's what it was.
I'm wondering. So the BBC doesn't really have much in the way of advertiser beholdenment, as in they're funded by the subscription service of
exactly.
The British. So I'm wondering. So I'm seeing this as so they're kind of like they had the artistic freedom of Netflix before Netflix, because Netflix will occasionally make some risky choices. And daring do's and all that crap, and as a result they'll come out with some really original pieces of work, not always good, but at least they're making an attempt. So
the BBC can afford to be grittier.
Exactly. And whereas The Day After, they had to make sure that McDonald's wasn't pissed off by the site of the McDonald's being overrun or something like that.
As if anyone's overrunning McDonald's these days.
Hey. Sir.
Oh, what? Suddenly McDonald's is going to be angrily knocking at my door?
My door. I'm trying to get sponsorships here. Ladies and gentlemen, for your free Egg McMuffin, please make sure to go to your local McDonald's and say, howdy do.
Lost podcast of Titan sent me.
And I would like a free Egg McMuffin. And I assure you, you will not get a free Egg McMuffin.
But if you're going to do that, please take a camera with you and do a snapshot of the counter guy when you make your request. Because I really would like to see the expressions on their faces. When
you get an Egg McMuffin at regular price. What a deal.
And also a sympathetic look.
That actually one of those lines hit me really well. It was in the bunker, and they were discussing. It was close to the line of, I need that food to make people work. They were talking about the calorie rations, like not even physically food, but like how many physical calories they were going to allow people. And they were like something like 300 calories a day. Well, what's that?
Nothing.
A slice of bread.
Yeah.
A bit of cheese, and that's it. I was like, oh, damn.
I mean, I may be off. I probably am, but I heard somewhere that every person needs an average of 2,000 calories a day to function fully.
Yeah, and
300 calories, you'll be able to stay awake in bed, and that's about it.
Well, I think a majority of the calories is burned by the brain, so maybe you can work physically, you just can't really think about it too much, which might actually be a blessing, to be perfectly honest. The one thing that concerned me, though, is that, there's lots of things that concern me, is there's this notion of the bombs drop, and years and years and years pass, and yet nothing is cleaned up. Like, not even the places that they live and work.
Well, go back to earlier when the bombs were falling and you get these notices from the teleprompter saying how many Roentgens, how many megatons fall on Great Britain.
Yeah.
Would you really expect things to be improving?
No, I'm not. Okay. I'm not expecting like the town of Sheffield to be rebuilt in all of its shitty glory. What I'm saying is, like, they had barns and they had farmhouses that they still look like they were on the edge of being just like tipping over. Like the daughter character was making her way through England, and she stepped by a bar, which was basically like a terp thrown over some poles. And I'm like, this would have fit, a year or two after. But eventually you would want to move to someplace more stable, or at least take the effort to stabilize your surroundings and clear up the rubble.
I don't think that would be as high a priority as...
But this was 20 years after. Or maybe not 20, more like 15-ish, I think. 15 years after.
Okay. I still don't think... Okay. I still don't think that clearing away rubble would out-prioritize the constant search for food.
Well, after a while, there was no search. You had to farm it.
In soil that wouldn't support crops?
Well, how are they getting food then to begin with?
Have you seen Uncle Waldo around lately?
No. Well, I mean, you could. Well, that's still plenty of meat and protein. You can, get to work cleaning up the place.
Okay, obviously you and I have different opinions on the recovery of society after a major war.
I'm just saying, I think they could clean it up a little bit, like at least sweep the rubble off the street, because there are nails there that you could use.
Oi, pick that up. We need fresh flowers in those pots over there.
We need fresh flowers. Oh, that also reminds me. Have you seen? Not seen. Well, I guess there's a game called This War of Mine. Have you heard of that?
No, but the title sounds interesting.
Okay. So this was made, I think, by a group of programmers in Eastern Europe. I think they're also in Syria, maybe. But basically it tells the story of war from the perspective of the civilians who are caught between two armies fighting. So the game plays that you're in like bombed out homes, surrounded by armies, and there are soldiers wandering the streets, as well as thieves, raiders, pillagers, rapists, all kinds of other stuff. And you're basically you have a choice between what skills you have, but you don't have all the skills, and so you're trying to survive and gather people, and basically their value really isn't their inherent worth. It is can you do something that I can't do that helps our survival? And you have it's always, you're on the verge of starvation. Fresh water is difficult to get. You have to make trades. You have to make difficult choices, because sometimes you need food, and the only people who have food is that old couple in the house over there. So, and you can sneak in and maybe steal enough for you to survive and let them survive, or you can kill them, take it all. It makes you do those questionable things of what would you do to actually survive.
It's giving you it's allowing you to set a bar about just how far would you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I recommend the game. Hell, I think you even need to be able to run it, because it's not that graphically intensive of a game, and I'm still working on your computer. I had to scrap the video card, so I'll have to figure out something else, but I'll work on it.
Thank you, and I'm pretty sure our audience is really fascinated.
Oh yeah,
by all the.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Love Podcast of Titan, where I'm trying to build my daddy a gaming computer,
so I can play depressing, post-nuclear war games. But I was going to say, if we were going to briefly segue into games here,
yeah,
I have a game where it's called the Morrow Project. Maybe some of our older listeners will be familiar with that. takes place in a post-apocalyptic society.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to the Wikipedia entry
Yep.
for the Morrow Project,
yeah.
okay, look down at the references. You'll see a link to a game, or not to a game, but to a website where you can pick any place in the world, determine any type of nuclear warhead that you're going to drop, and punch a button, and it will show you the amount of damage that area would sustain.
Oh, I think I heard about that.
I may have told you about it once, but just to put your mind at rest,
Yeah.
being in the butt end of the universe here in Texas, I'm a good quite a distance from even the farthest effects from a nuclear. If someone drops a nuclear bomb on Austin, they would have to drop a pretty big frickin' bomb on Austin for me to feel any of the blast effects. Now, of course, fallout is still a concern, not to mention, cannibalistic neighbors, but I'm in a considerably better situation than, say, for instance, you.
Oh, neat. So if hold on. So it looks like if a fat man drops, I survive.
Yeah. Well, if they drop a fat man, you could be living across the street from where the bomb hits, and you'd essentially be okay. But I'm talking about the more contemporary bombs.
Let me see. Let me try. Let me try 5 megatons. Let's see. Kadoom. Oh Lord, I'm gone.
Yeah, 5 megatons. I don't know if. God, I don't know
what
if they
the hell
dropped...
is a moderate, like a fireball radius and a moderate blast damage? Fuck you and your moderate blast damage.
No, I don't know if the San Francisco area would even rate a megaton warhead.
Don't we have a San Francisco naval base? I thought we did.
Well, a naval base and stuff like that, but
also we have an airport.
And the seaport of San Francisco. But yeah, we'll be getting back to threads in just a little bit, folks.
Yeah, Hunters Point Naval Shipyard. Yeah, we have a naval shipyard here.
But let's see, if I use the W-80 warhead, which is currently a cruise missile, 150 kilotons, then it only goes, the blast effects only goes as far south as South San Francisco. They would have to drop the bomb pretty much directly on San Jose. And I think 150 kilotons is about the average that a city like San Francisco could expect. Yes, it is an important city.
What to say, sir?
Oh, we're gonna now have a dick waving contest. I get a bigger warhead than you. Yeah.
What I'm saying is that if we get nuked, I'd rather be gone in a flash.
Well, I'd kind of like to be hanging around a lot more, and
you want to survive the post-apocalyptic world with your arthritis.
I don't move around all that much, but the food problem would be the biggest threat. I suspect that I would lose. Well, I suspect that I would lose some weight, which would
also. Where does your water come from?
Well, Tudor doesn't drink all that much, and and the way your mother buys water for even the possibility of a hurricane coming all the way up here to central Texas.
No, listen. After that whole bullshit with the ice freezing over Austin, go ahead, have your water. It's okay. I don't need that bullshit. Like, get yourself some tuna, peanut butter, and water. Okay, I have it too. We have a closet, and at the bottom of the closet is like 8 gallons of water, 3 tubs of peanut butter, and like half a pound of tuna.
You didn't buy out the store's ramen noodles?
No, that's too much salt.
Oh, and by the way, I appreciate you having left behind the ramen noodles. They were delicious. But
Oh, hey, you know.
But anyway, let's try and drag this back to Threads, a
Oh, yeah.
1984 film. I am safe in presuming, yes, that this was the most depressing film that I've ever recommended to you.
Yep.
Other than depressing, would you say that this was the best film I've ever recommended to you?
Well, currently, yes. Like in this little thing of assignments here, yes.
Okay.
This is only number 2, but you used to make a habit of giving me like an assignment list every summer of a dozen or so movies that I had to watch, and I'm fairly certain if I had that list again, there would be some that are better.
Yes. But also, would you say that this is a film that demands that the audience sit and think? It's not just eye candy.
Yes, but also there's an issue where the threat of nuclear war isn't as prevalent as it was. Like the all-out nuclear war. Right now we have the issue of, a dirty bomb or a rogue state firing a missile or two, so that when it strikes, it's going to strike one area and it'll be horrific, but it won't be the world-ending catastrophe. Like right now, I'll be honest, I'm more worried about Facebook than I am of nuclear war. Okay.
Okay, I should assign you to do a screenplay, a Facebook apocalypse. Oh,
have you watched? There's like some documentaries on like Q cults now, and I'm like, oh fuck me.
Yeah, okay, but because of my upbringing, I suspect I'm not entirely confident that we will avoid nuclear war, as you are, but I don't. But I making a statement here. I don't think that Threads set out to be entertaining, just attention grabbing.
No, it's the BBC. Entertainment isn't a requirement. They've been running Doctor Who for how many years now?
Oh, come on!
Clearly, entertainment is not on the board here.
They've also been running Downton Abbey.
Yeah, okay.
The right. Vicar of Dibley. Absolutely fabulous.
Absolute shit. Keep going.
Monty Python's Flying Circus.
It's grounded. Go ahead. Keep going.
So I would say that the BBC is
also,
more than...
how many of those shows are recent?
Downton Abbey. Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey is for the PBS. They're so deaf for Americans. It's a period piece in the early 1900s. It's perfect for the Americans. Just leave a Starbucks coffee cup and we'll trend on Twitter.
EastEnders, Coronation Street, Z-Cars.
Okay.
The Prisoner.
The Prisoner isn't modern.
But it's still being watched and talked about to this day. We need to do an episode devoted to The Prisoner.
Well, yeah.
Marking that down in my notes.
I mean, hell, we could probably just knock out the series. We can either just do post-episode discussions instead of commentaries, or make a point of doing a really, really long episode where we discuss the entire series as a whole.
Okay, I was going to say Thunderbirds, but I knew where you would go with that.
I would turn it off after the opening credits.
Terrahawks.
Terrahawks is awesome, but it's not
there
recent.
You go. Oh!
Like, hello, this is 2021.
I know. I'm sure though that the BBC's programming still has many
top current BBC programming.
Yeah, you're beating me to
most popular. Here we go.
Top 2021.
EastEnders, Baptiste, the Olympics can go fuck right off.
Someone actually said the Olympics.
Yeah, it's listing the most popular shows based on their BBC app. See, Forensics, The Real CSI, Holby City High, Billy Ellish Up Close, Bad Influencer.
This is going to hurt.
See,
trick. I haven't been watching the BBC in quite a bit because I don't know if
Neither has anyone
shows.
else. That's why they're raising their rates and people are canceling their subscriptions.
Michaela Cole's new project. She looks attractive, but if they bring back Sherlock, I'd watch that. Or if they do another.
The Butler did it. The end.
Are you familiar with? God, I don't know how we get on these tangents. Are you familiar with a classic short play called The Mousetrap?
Is that the one where the monkey did it?
I'm not certain. I think it was written by Agatha Christie, but it has been playing at this one British stage theater since the dawn of time. Because I think Moses actually wrote the play. Uh-huh. But I had a friend over in England.
Yeah.
He lives in Scotland now.
Okay.
And on slow nights, he and his friends would pile into a car and go out to where the theater was, and they'd drive by and see the people standing in line, and they'd yell out, "The Butler dead!"
Yeah. Are we sure that it's not actually a secret sex club that's masquerading as a really bad play?
I think we would have known by now if that was the case.
It's just to avoid the coppers. Boy, you got a license for that sex club? No, sir. This is just a play.
Well,
what kind of play is this?
You need to get a license, and the licensing office will be open at 6 tomorrow morning. Be sure to be there. St. Martin's Theatre. It is the longest-running West End show. In 2018, it marked its 27,500th performance. And the audience is traditionally asked not to reveal the ending when leaving the theater.
Because the butler did it.
But anyway, you rather like Threads, and I'm happy to see that. And I'm sure that if our audience ignored our rambling tiptoe through the post-apocalyptic landscape, they would find the film absolutely riveting. Just don't expect it to be a feel-good experience.
Oh, wait. Apparently, the murderer in Mousetrap is, spoiler.
You're not supposed to say it. Tell.
What?
You're not supposed to reveal the ending.
It's on Google.
Well, don't reveal it.
But it's a surprise. Okay, all right. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a.
So anyway, what is the next assignment you'll have for me?
The next assignment I'll have for you. I know I had a next assignment. At this point, I will let you know as soon as possible. But at this point, it says evaded my little mind. But I will have an assignment. Trust me, Oh, wait, no, I do remember the assignment, and I know it's available online, just not on YouTube. You just have to type in the name. After Threads, I was thinking you'd want something brighter and more entertaining and, perhaps more jolly, although I wouldn't exactly call it jolly. So next time, we are going to delve into...
Quickly Googling.
into the world of classic Japanese science fiction.
Oh no! Is this Astro Boy?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do Astro Boy. Battle in Outer Space.
Battle in Outer Space.
A film which is almost as old as I am.
Huh. Oh wait, that's 2 minutes 33 seconds. That can't be it.
No.
Are you
Battle
sure it's
in
on
Outer
YouTube?
It's not the trailers are on YouTube. But if you type in Battle in Outer Space streaming online, you would be able to find it.
Let me see.
Directed by the same people who directed the classic Godzilla films. Great Akira Ifukube music.
Oh, here we go. It's on YouTube.
The entire film?
An hour and 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. Oh, Lord. It's just audio commentary. Someone's doing our shtick. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, we can
Bastards.
do better. We can do better than them. But yes, Battle in Outer Space will be your assignment, mainly because it's one of my. It was sort of the Star Wars of the 1950s, and mainly because I really want to hear your comments concerning this film.
Okay. Hold on. Let's see.
If you like, I'll send you the link to
Oh, there we
where
go.
to
Nope,
find.
I got it.
Okay.
Apparently, because I live where I live, I get a free copy online. This is weird, but okay. I'll take it.
But that is your assignment, young Padawan.
Okay. If with any luck, we can. I can watch this before we have to watch For Whom Gods Destroy. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, behave.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.